in no, yeah, and we are officially recording. So yeah, I was speaking about, yeah, I was telling you I am just moderating and I'm here to cue in our speaker. And our speaker is none other than Daniel Orenge. And he's a powerhouse in the world of voiceover, voiceovers. Sorry about that. Also, he's a wellness coach and he's a renowned motivational speaker. And he comes in with over 15 years of experience. He has honed his skills to become the master in his field. And also, as the founder of Sikika Advertising Solution, he has created impactful content for brands like the ACA Lion, NTV, House and Finance, Kenya Commercial Bank, Zitec University, Airtel, among others. His ability to bring message to life with his voice is truly remarkable. Other than that, Daniel has also lent his voice to prestigious award ceremonies such as the Kalash Awards, Energy Management Awards, and the Association of Kenya Insurance Awards, adding his unique flair to these special events. Now, I can go on and read his own bio, but I got a snippet of some of sample work of some work that he has done that I want to play with you so you see him in action, even as you warm up to receive him. Allow me to share a bit with you.
My name is Daniel, or you can call me D-Man. I'm a voice-over actor from Kenya, East Africa, with a rich, authentic baritone. My specialties are commercial announcer. In a world where style meets performance, where innovation meets elegance, movie trailer. No young man, no matter how great, can know his destiny. Documentary. In a world of breathtaking diversity, our planet is home to an astonishing array of wildlife. Live announcer. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests and esteemed honorees, welcome. Gaming sound effects. Round one. Fight! And storytelling. In the quiet town of Bethlehem, a child named Jesus was born. I can do both in English and Swahili. Looking forward to work with you.
You're on mute.
Okay, sorry. That is just a bit of a sample work of what our speaker has done. And also his dedication to what he does spreads across his dedication to promoting wellness in terms of physical, mental, spiritual health through the D-Man Wellness platform, where he does mentorship forum for young people who are going through different stages in their lives, whether it's physical, whether it's mental, whether it's spiritual, and among others. Also, he's a father, he's a friend, he's a mentor. And here he combines his expertise in communication with a passion for holistic wellness to help others find balance and purpose in their lives. That is through the D-Man Wellness platform. Without further ado, I want us to put together our virtual claps. Where are the claps emoji? As we welcome, as we welcome our speaker today, Daniel Orenge, or as many popularly known as D-Man. So Dan, karibu sana. The virtual stage is all yours. Karibu.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Millicent, for that fantastic introduction. A lot is expected of me when you've been introduced like that. Thank you so much, my dear audience, for making the time to be here with us. We do not take it for granted. If there's anything that is limited in this world, it's time. Somebody gives you your time, their time, you appreciate it. And I want to say thank you so much. And I promise to do my best today in delivering what I have for you. Now, Millicent, am I at the center of the screen? I feel like I'm at the corner. I'm not doing a PowerPoint. So I'm just talking. Am I in a good place?
Okay, let me focus you.
Yeah, so so I stop speaking from a corner.
Okay.
Great. So as Millicent is doing that, you've also had a coach at the African Center for Public Speaking. And many a times I'm the gentleman who covers the topic around the voice. And today we're going to dive into that. Millicent, are we good to go? I'm surprised. Is it all ladies? I was wondering where the men are.
Okay. On the laptop, you are the focus. That on the phone, the layout is all. Yeah.
Okay, so I can proceed.
Yeah, proceed.
Can everybody see me comfortably? Can I get a thumbs up so I can proceed? Thank you. All right. Cool. So we have this particular slot where we talk about the voice. It's a particular lesson that we do through the program, professional speakers course. And whenever we're going to talk about the voice, we normally start with something called a values exercise. And the values exercise is very interesting because it's a story we go through. And through that story, everybody is able to place their values on top of that story and give a sort of ranking based on the individuals who are there, who they think was the worst individual as compared to who they think is best. So everybody, we go through the story and everybody writes down the answer number 1 to 5. So and so is the best. So and so is this, and everybody comes and speaks and mentions and pleads their case as to why they feel that they have that particular. Now, obviously, it's very easy to side with the person who is speaking the best. Not necessarily because that they seem to have the right answer. It's just because of how they sound. So we then introduce the topic of the voice. And that's what we're going to go through today. So the voice is the core of public speaking. I don't know if some of you are taking notes. I just thought we're just going to have an interactive discussion without a PowerPoint presentation so we can just engage. And as we're going on, you can slowly put down your questions. If there's something you didn't hear me say clearly, you can type it out. Millie will be sure to answer, or Millie will pause me in between so I can make sure you're not left behind. Fantastic. So the voice is the core of public speaking, and it's the defining factor of communication. So have you ever had somebody speaking and you hear other people say that there's something about that person's voice that reaches Millie? I think there are people coming in. I hope you're able to add them. You hear people saying there's something about his voice that reaches the innermost part of the spirit when particular people talk. So the gentleman called Friedrich Nietzsche who says this: we often refuse to accept an idea merely because the tone of the voice in which it has been expressed is unsympathetic to us. I'm a salesman as well, and I see lots of salespeople out there. And one of the things is, even when you start talking to somebody, if their voice does not resonate with you, they already have an uphill task to deal with. So that means there's a lot we have to do with our voice to make sure that it's something that is sympathetic to others. Because once people love your voice, they generally will listen to you. I was having a conversation with Millicent before, and I told her, all the content you listen to on social media, you spend less time listening to content that has bad audio, but you spend more time listening to content that has fantastic audio. And anybody who is in content creation knows that audio is important, meaning that there's something about voice as well. So note this: public speaking is 9/10 voice work. 9/10. A rich, correctly used voice is the greatest physical factor of persuasiveness and power, often overtopping even the effects of reason. When we look at some of the things that happen on TV, the Shakahola episodes, you wonder what madness is that, and you just know that somebody's voice was so persuasive to people, it even popped the effects of reason. When we look at some politicians continuously putting us in a sense, in a trance that they're going to do particular things, and we know it's a lie, but we easily follow them and give them our votes simply because they have mastered the use of the voice. Voice is a very powerful thing. But a good voice, well handled, is not only an effective possession for the professional speaker, it is a mark of personal culture as well, and even a distinct commercial asset. When you meet young children who have good grammar and talk very well, you can know that these children have been raised well. When you meet individuals who speak well, there's an essence of respect you give them because it's a mark of personal culture. So speaking well is very, very important, especially as it's the key component of public speaking. As I mentioned, it's even a distinct commercial asset. I'm a voiceover artist. I get paid to do advertisements. I get paid to speak in forums. I get paid to teach. So as long as you can work on your voice, trust you me, it's going to make you some money. So they also say that 90 men in every 100 in the crowded professions will probably never rise above mediocrity because the training of the voice is entirely neglected and considered of no importance. That's a huge statistic. 90 men in every 100. When I say men, of course, it goes both ways. I can say 90, 90 women. That's a huge number because people do not understand the importance of sharpening the voice. They will always remain mediocre because they have not worked on their voice. There's a gentleman I follow. He's called Myron Golden, and he talks about the 4 levels of value. 4 levels of value. And after this, I hope you're going to possibly take some action, because he said that many of us work extra hard. And working extra hard is a good thing because it makes you a good person. Working hard is good. But the problem is we work hard at the wrong thing. So he says we have to understand the 4 levels of value. The first level at the bottom, he's basically talking about the people who earn the least, because all of this is basically trying to define how to acquire wealth. And wealth is spiritual. I'm sure many of you have heard that before. So he says the people who earn the least are the people who use their physical strength or their muscles against time. Both of those are limited. You cannot be wealthy against that because wealth is spiritual. Then the second level are the people who start using a spiritual tool called leadership. These are the managers. Managers are paid more because they are able to make many people do things. So they are paid more. Then now the people who earn good bucks are the people who use voice. Anybody who has mastered how to speak gets paid handsomely. So he says, instead of working too hard at what you're currently doing, work hard at learning how to speak better. Stop repeating the same thing, which will just give you a slight salary increment. Work hard at improving your communication, your voice. Hence, that's one of the reasons why we have these webinars for you to be more sensitized. Then above, just typical examples of people who make a lot of money through voice. Of course, I remember I say the politicians, even pastors. When you look at singers, when you look at even the salespeople, they have mastered the use of voice, And this is a spiritual tool. If you look at the Bible or the Quran, there's the essence of let there be when God used voice in the creation of the world. Then, of course, now the 4th level are people who use their creativity. Those are the most wealthy people in the world. So sharpen your voice. That's basically what I was trying to tell you. Sharpen your voice. Now we're going to go into the 3 fundamental requisites for a good voice. the three fundamental requisites. This is what your voice, how the performance of your voice will sit on. All right? They might seem very basic, but it's a discipline. And I'll try as much as possible to explain to you how much of a discipline it is, because we could easily go through them and we say, that was easy. Not easy, and tomorrow you're back to the same routine. I need you to understand the importance of practicing this thing. So the first principle is called ease. Ease. Then the second one is called openness. Openness. Then the third one is called forwardness. Forwardness. Hope you got that down. So let's talk about ease. Why ease? What is it about ease? The secret of a good voice is in relaxation. Relaxation is the basis of ease. So try this for yourself. Contract, wherever you are, contract the muscles of your face and your throat, like you're angry. You know, remember that last person you were angry at and you cringed. And you could say something like, I hate you. Do that and speak. Say, I hate you. And then do something opposite. Now just relax your muscles. Think gentle and tender thoughts and say from a point of ease. Say, I love you. They both definitely sound different. And if you're speaking to people, they'll be able to notice the difference, whether they are seeing you or not. Because you need to speak from a point of ease. Next, in practicing voice exercises and in speaking, never force your tones. Ease must be your watchword. Remember, the voice is a very delicate instrument, and you must not handle it with hammer and tongs. You have to make sure you treat it carefully. So, do not make your voice go. Do not make it. Let it go. We're going to talk a little bit more about what ease is, because we go through trying times in life. But the greatest public speakers doesn't mean they don't have issues in their life, but they always speak from a point of ease, understanding that that's how they're able to speak more effectively. So, another thing about ease is that your throat should be free from strain. Here, should be free from strain during speech. Today, we're basically focusing on the voice in regards to public speaking. Of course, I'll definitely borrow some elements from voiceover, and they're very much related. So your throat should not have strain. It's necessary to avoid muscular contraction around here. There should be no level of strain with your throat. The throat will only act as a sort of chimney or funnel for your voice. Hence, any unnatural constrictions will not only harm it, but injure your voice, your throat, sorry. So the question here is, do you have relaxation techniques? You're about to go for a presentation, and then you're called, and you're told your house has flooded, and you're about to present. Do you have relaxation techniques? Because if you go there uncomposed, it will affect your voice. So we need to have relaxation techniques. I have done voiceover for many years, but like now I'm heading to 2 decades. But when I say that, I mean I have attempted voiceover. But over the last 4 years, let's say 3 heading to 4 years, I have thrived in voiceover. This is very directly related. Many of you who have joined know my story. Some of you don't. I speak a lot about wellness because I'm coming from a past of alcoholism. Now, when I look back, I'm able to understand why my voice did not perform then, because I was facing many, many issues then. So I didn't have a basis of ease. And equally, I was harming my voice all the time with the things that I was partaking. But immediately I embarked on this new journey and I do a lot of wellness. I am always, not always, most of the time, I am at a point of ease. Doesn't mean that life is too fair for me on my side, but I've learned how to manage things. So I'm giving you a holistic sense about when you're becoming a public speaker, you need to develop sort of a wellness formula that backs your ease. You know, there are many things you could look at in terms of your spirituality, exercise, things that help you relax, healthy coping mechanisms, unwinding, things like that. When you generally have a culture of ease in you, you generally speak better. So that's a very important factor when it comes to ease. In addition, now this is matters breathing. All the activity of your breathing must be centered, not in your throat, but in the middle of your body. You must breathe from your diaphragm. In voiceover, we normally, when you're about to read, you say you have a take. So we are encouraged to breathe in from the diaphragm, and as you breathe out, you speak. Same thing with public speaking. You have to monitor your breathing. Breathe in, and then you speak. So you have to breathe from your diaphragm. So if you want to understand how to breathe from the diaphragm, do this example if you can. You don't have to do it now. You can do it at your own free time. Note the way you breathe when you're lying flat on your back. Try that. You'll observe that all the activity centers around your diaphragm. Okay? So this is the natural and correct method of breathing. So by constant watchfulness, make this habitual. Okay? It will enable you to relax perfectly the muscles of the throat. We're trying to avoid any constriction from here. As you have said, don't force it. Let your voice go. Breathe. Ease. Ease is a state of mind. Breathe from your diaphragm and then let it go. You'll find you're speaking better and well. Okay? So that is ease. Let's go to the next one. Openness. Openness. When you hear me saying openness, what comes to your mind? What comes to your mind? For me, if this was new to me, I'd already think it's something to do with how you use your mouth. So sound is a series of waves, yeah? And if you make a prison of your mouth, holding the jaws and lips rigidly, it will be very difficult for tones to squeeze through, okay? And even though they will squeeze out, it will lack force and carrying power. It's a bad habit. That's why you're told, stop mumbling, stop eating your words. So what you need to do is learn to open your mouth wide when you're speaking. Relax all your organs of speech and let tones flow out easily. It's also another discipline where you learn to open your mouth, openness, so your voice can be clear. Okay? As I've said, make this habitual because it's a matter of resolution and of practice. All right? In openness, another organ you need to be very sensitive to is your nose. Because your nose is an important tone passage and it should be kept open and free for perfect tones. You ever think of that your nose assists when you speak? You only know that when you have a cold. So there's something we call talking through the nose. It's not talking, but it aids with talking. As you can see the difference when you hold your nose as you talk. Just hold your nose and talk a little bit. You can tell that you're straining a bit. So that actually tells you that you're The nasal passage has to be also taken good care of. Yeah. If you have any challenges with any growths or swellings in your nasal passages, take care of that. Yeah. If you need to be an operation, if you really want to go up the ranks in terms of public speaking, and you've just said it's 9/10 voice work, make sure your nasals are in order. Some people suffer from things like sinuses and things like that. They can hinder. Make sure you sort that out. It's very important. Cool. So we've talked about openness. Now, the third one is forwardness. Forwardness. What is forwardness? Here we're going to basically understand that you don't have, in public speaking, you don't have to shout to be heard. All right. Everybody is gifted differently. Some people are generally louder. They're able to speak louder. But there's something called forwardness. And forwardness is developing the carrying power of your voice. It's developing the carrying power of your voice. So a voice that is pitched back in the throat is dark, somber, and unattractive. The tone must be pitched forward. Pitched forward, not forced forward, but pitched forward. So I want us to do another simple exercise. And I want you to take the palm of your hand here and place it in front of your face. And I want you to say some things very vigorously, yeah. So there are 4 words we're going to use. We're going to use the words, I don't know if maybe you can type them. There is crash, there is dash, there is whirl, and there is buzz. So I want you to say crash, dash, whirl, buzz. Crash, dash, whirl, buzz. I want you to try and do that. And I want you to also try and, as you're doing it, bring it closer and take it a bit far. Take it a bit far. And then notice where you don't feel the impact on your palm. You should be able to feel the tone striking against your hand. Practice it. Now, that is the carrying power of your voice. So if you want to learn, if you want to develop the carrying power, the forwardness, you could learn to talk like this at times. Practice, talking like this, and try and see whether you can be able to hear your voice striking against your hand. Practice it. If you still can't hear it and you hear, you have a problem. You have a lot of work to do, but try. It needs you to keep on working on it. You will find that you can comfortably do it at the beginning, but slowly you lose that carrying power as you continue talking and you go back into your normal way of talking and you start losing the crowd. Because when you engage with your audience and you connect with them, it's your voice that will keep them connected to. So you have to make sure that you're conscious of the carrying power of your voice. So we have talked about ease, we've talked about openness, now you're talking about forwardness. All right? So it's not necessary to speak loudly in order to be heard at a distance. It's not. You just need to speak correctly. Cool. Another thing that people do, and it's a bad habit, if you still do it up to now, it means it wasn't corrected when you were a child. It means do not gaze at the floor as you are talking. Not look down. This habit not only gives the speaker an amateurish appearance, but if the head is hung forward, the voice will be directed towards the ground instead of floating out to the audience. That's why you're told, speak up. What does that mean? When you think about it literally, speaking up, it means lift your head, speak over people, speak. And that posture of speaking up already tells you you're speaking from your diaphragm. Speak up. That's how your voice will come out well. Some of these things we took them for granted because they were not sensitized as the foundations of speaking well. But fortunately, we can still learn them now and make sure we become better public speakers. So voice is a series of air vibrations. I believe you agree with me. So to strengthen it, two things are necessary. One, more air or more breath, and two, more vibration. So the two things you need to: more air or breath or more vibration. In public speaking, there are many tools we use to structure our speech and make it more powerful. There's something we call pause and power. Pause and power allows you to bring emphasis to particular points. Pause and power allows you to bring out a message more strongly when you leave people in suspense, and you're able to bring in a point more powerfully. Now, these pauses allow you to breathe. Because as a public speaker, we get to teach you that when you're given the opportunity, you're being told to basically lead. So pause and power allows you to let people have moments of reflection, to think about what you just said. And this pause and power goes very well when you learn to time your breaths. You can speak, deliver a point, let people think about it, get more air or more breath, and continue talking. Don't find yourself speaking and losing breath. As the public speaker, you have the opportunity to create those pauses for you to be able to breathe well. Why? Because it's very important that your voice is coming out projected well. In voiceover, many people say, I want to do voiceover, and I go like, voiceover is not just only about having a good voice. Good voice is fantastic, but it's also about delivery. Now, if you might not have noticed that, but I just said good voice is also about, and then I breathed in, then I said delivery. I've learned how to have more air or breath, and that's what delivery came out clear. If I did not breathe and I said delivery, you might have missed it. You might have just had some base delivery. But I breathed in and I said delivery. Those are some of the tools that we're going to equip you with when you take on some of our courses, because it allows you to learn how to add that more air and breath, which eventually brings about more vibration. So I have some voice suggestions for you, my dear audience. Suggestion 1, never attempt to force your voice when it's hoarse. Never attempt. A very long time, not too long ago, I've always, there's a time when I'd feel unwell, I'd still try to do voiceover and it would sound bad. And until I was told by one of my mentors that take a break, let the voice heal. So if you're having a challenge, that makes your voice hoarse, anything that would impact your vocal cords, let it heal. So never attempt to force your voice. This is very important for anybody who is taking this message very seriously, and I believe all of you are, because you're here. So never attempt to do that. We have to really cherish the voice, courtesy of what it can do for you. Another one, I was a victim of this and I changed it and I'm loving it. Do not drink cold water when speaking. Do not. Be in the habit of drinking warm water. Why? If you drink cold water, the sudden shock to the heated organs of speech will injure the voice. So make it a practice to drink warm water. I used to drink a lot of cold water. I think it's also because of my journey and where I was coming from. I used to take a lot of cold things. But immediately I learned the importance of this. I immediately switched because I'm taking care of it. But immediately you start doing these small things, ease, openness, forwardness, your voice starts to change. And you will be told, or you will even notice people are paying more attention to you. Okay. Another thing you need to avoid, as I told you, I'm giving you voice suggestions. Avoid pitching your voice too high because it will make it raspy. So this is a common fault. Many people do this. When you find your voice is at a high range, or a high range that is too high for it, lower it. And don't wait to do this when you get to the platform, when you get an opportunity. Learn to find the place where your voice is comfortable. Practice it, perhaps in your daily conversations. So we've mentioned 3 things there. Yeah. Do not force your voice. When it's hoarse, do not drink cold water. Take care of the organs of your speech, and learn the tone you're comfortable with before you get the opportunity to speak. Another thing we can finalize with in terms of voice, I mean, voice is broad, but in today's webinar, we just wanted to sensitize you about things you can go and try and apply for yourself as you're moving forward in your day-to-day, because this is a discipline. We don't wait to get an opportunity to try, how is my voice now? You start it today. So if your prayers are answered and you get an opportunity, and some of these opportunities, you have to take them for yourself. It could be even in a family gathering and somebody says, who can pray for us? That's public speaking. You wake up and you speak. So that's where you get to apply some of these things. So start practicing the things that I have taught you here. So the last thing I wanted to mention is called voice charm. Voice charm. Charming voice. So what is voice charm? When you think about it, what is voice charm? I'm so used to having people respond, but I know you're probably also reflecting on the same. What is voice charm? So voice charm is musical, joyous tones or a subtle magnetism that is delightfully contagious in someone's voice. Musical, joyous tones that is with a subtle magnetism and is delightfully contagious in someone's voice. There are people who come into a particular place and immediately they start talking, they connect with everybody. Everybody's smiling, everybody's listening. They are loving their voice, they are loving their energy, and they're already connected. And this person, his work is halfway done. He can deliver whatever it is he needs to deliver. But there are others who come on top of the stage and they struggle to connect because they have no voice charm. So they're already on an uphill. By the time they connect to the audience, if they ever do, you never get a chance to connect, means you will not deliver. So these are things that are very subtle, but they're important, because the most important thing for public speaker is to deliver a message. So to deliver that message and get your audience to act means, first and foremost, you have to connect with them. How do you connect with them? Voice charm. So how do you get voice charm? This one is not developed on the stage. You can't go to the stage and start pretending to have a nice voice and talking to people and imposing a smile so they can connect with you. It won't happen. It won't work. It is developed before. You see, the same things I've been telling you, some of the things you have to practice before. It is developed before. It is a way of life. It's a habit. It's social intentionality that develops into character and voice charm. This is what I mean. A typical example, when you go to work, you park your car, you've driven in past the gate. How many people do you say hello to by the time you sit at your desk? If you can learn to say hello to the askari, to the receptionist, smile at them, say hi to people on the corridor. How are you doing today? Did you have a splendid evening? Sorry, have the floods affected you? You learn, that's what I've said, it's social intentionality. When you do that, you develop voice charm. And that voice charm will follow you to the podium. So if you are a person of ignoring people, know you have no voice charm, because this is character. Learn to develop voice charm by being socially connected to people. Learn to talk to people, learn to engage with people, because by the time you get to when you get an opportunity for public speaking, you'll find you naturally connect, because it's something that you have been doing prior to the opportunity. Okay, with that, I summarized my presentation. It was just an introduction to the voice, some of the key things you need to do to be able to become a better public speaker. And I believe right now we can be able to take a few questions here and there. It could be whatever you want to ask. It could be as broad. Thank you for the claps. I'm seeing some people are clapping. I'm seeing people are raising a hand. So Millie, I think you can advise on how we can. Thank you so much. I appreciate the claps. Sana, Pamela.
Yeah, let's see the claps. Let's give a round of applause to our speaker. That was really good. That was really good. Thank you so much for sharing with us today. Now, if you have any question that you want Dan to respond to in terms of our session today, kindly drop it in the voice box. I just love how Rosemary Minor has been using the chat box to take her notes. Like she was writing her summary points and she wrote is equals to relaxation, and then openness. She talked about openness, and then she hyphenated and said open your mouth and nose. And then also she wrote forwardness and hyphenated to mean develop the carrying power of your voice. That was so good, Rosemary. It's allowed, it's okay. Whenever you can take your notes, just take them. So we're opening the Q&A. If you have any questions for our speaker concerning the voice or just from what he's presented today. Also, if it's just a question you've always had in terms of public speaking that you'd want to table it today, kindly do drop it in the in the chat box, or you can raise your hand and then I will see you.
I think I've seen somebody raise their hand.
Okay, Rosemary's hand is up. Okay, Rosemary, you can ask your question.
Thank you, and thank you very much, Daniel, for those tips. Quite useful. I do training, so it's pretty useful to get some tips on how to keep the voice going. So one of the questions I get a lot, especially because I teach managers and supervisors, is the fact that some feel they have a very soft-spoken voice. So much so that when you're giving instructions, people don't seem to take you seriously. And they keep wondering, is there a way is there something I can do to make sure that my voice becomes more commanding so that when I give instructions or when I'm serious, people can actually take me seriously? Thank you.
Okay. Okay. It's most of these things are you'd find that somebody has a soft-spoken voice because of some perceptions of who they are. Number one, I remember I've said everybody is different. Some people are generally louder, some people are generally soft-spoken. But first of all, I have to make sure that the person who is asking this question, they need to have a full evaluation of themselves. Are there things that make them soft-spoken? Are there things that they have gone through that probably make them less confident and they're not too sure about what they want to say? Because this is a very introspective discussion they need to have with themselves first. Whether it's just a natural soft voice or is there something that made them soft-spoken? Because that needs to be dealt with first. For that to change, you would find that there are things in life that can make somebody soft-spoken. It could be childhood trauma. It could be something that happened and this person reserved their comments. It could be somebody in class did something and the teacher responded in a particular way that made them very timid. and hence they became soft-spoken. So these are some things that they need to think about for themselves first, to make sure that they're conscious of that and they need to deal with that. It's just a process of reversal, based on maybe reaffirming yourself, to get over that fear that makes you soft-spoken. Now, for them to speak a bit with more confidence, I mean, as I've said, first of all, it needs to stem from a stronger sense of identity, but they could practice some of the things that I have just mentioned here. Okay, they could practice some of the things I've mentioned here. At times you feel that you need to have a particular tone of voice for you to be heard well. People are basically trying to intimidate you and basically see whether you're in a position to really lead, but it's not really about your voice. I think all she can do is continuously practice some of the tips I've given here, from the ease, the openness, and the forwardness. With time, her own confidence in how she's speaking will make people, it will eventually translate in people giving her the due respect she needs. It's something that she has to persistently do. Using the tips that I've given you here, she has to be confident in doing it herself, practicing to speak better. She doesn't have to change her voice. She doesn't have to. She just has to learn, am I speaking from a point of ease, or am I intimidated? If you're intimidated, we need to deal with the intimidation. Then, can I apply forwardness? Can I apply openness? Okay. Intimidation can make somebody speak softly, but if you can learn to get rid of those subtle spiritual character flaws, you'll be able to speak a bit more confidently, even with the size of voice that you think she has. So as I've said, let her think through if there are any things that made her that way. If not, she can apply some of the principles that I have put here today and still be confident that with her voice, she can still be heard. Because the confidence is what will get people to move, not the size of voice. Not the size of voice. As much as a loud voice is an advantage, the confidence in her voice and applying the things I've mentioned here will get her to she'll be able to manage people. I hope I have given you a bit of an answer. I just have to take it back so I can understand probably where this could have stemmed from.
Yeah, sure. Thank you very much.
Okay.
All right, we have some questions in the inbox, but first, I see Nahodha wa Angani. Interesting name. Nahodha wa Angani. The hand is up. You can ask your question.
Okay, thank you so much for that chance. Actually, it is my first time to get an opportunity to learn from you and even to sharpen my skills, to sharpen my voice. So my question would be, sometimes you could be speaking and you find yourself, there is a tonal variation of your voice. For instance, when you're speaking certain words in English, your voice might sound so different as compared when you're pronouncing other words in Swahili or another language. So what could be the problem, or what brings this tonal variation between languages?
Well, number one, the tonal variation is never really a problem. As I've taken people through the session today, the thing I said is the problem is being at the wrong tone that is not comfortable with your voice. The different tonal variations, basically with languages is based on how expressive something is. In voiceover, one of the things in public speaking, one of the things we avoid is monotone, where you've started with a particular tone and you've spoken through the whole session in that particular tone, you will lose your audience. But when you're expressing something, like the way I just said, expressing something, it is inevitable that there's going to be a tone variation. Now, obviously, in another language like Swahili, there are particular words that probably have a more emphasis when you're expressing them, okay? Because they all sound different. Even like one thing, if you look at the translations of English and Swahili, they're not really like similar. There's a difference in how you would say something in Swahili as compared to how you would say something in English. So definitely there's going to be a tonal variation difference in how you would say it in Swahili and how you would say it in English, or how you would say it in a different language, because of how the structure of that language is. Tonal variation, tone variation means you're very in touch with what you're saying, because the more variation there is, the more connected your audience is, and they flow with whatever it is you're trying to say, because you speak from your heart, and your heart is also your mind. You're getting them to see what you're seeing. And to do that, you cannot have a monotone. You would have tone variation. So I implore anybody who's talking, the more absorbed you are with your content, or whatever it is you're speaking about, you will notice that tone variation is inevitable, and it's a good thing. It will be different when you're expressing particular things in English. It will be different when expressing it in Swahili, based on how the language is. Yeah, nothing, the translation is never directly related. You'll find the way something is said in Swahili is very different from the way it's said in English, and hence how you would express it will be different. So there's nothing wrong with tone variation. As a matter of fact, it's a very good thing. It shows that you're very in tune with what you say.
Thank you so much. I think I've been answered.
Okay, thank you. We have another question in the chat box from Grace Mudoni. She asks, how do you get rid of nervousness?
Okay. There's a particular slot, there's a particular lesson we do, acquiring confidence before an audience. And when we're talking about acquiring confidence before an audience, one of the things that you'll have to know is inevitable is that no matter how many swimming videos you watch, the day you'll be put in the swimming pool, you'll realize you don't know how to swim. So you have to learn by getting into the pool. So nervousness can only be dealt with by pursuing opportunities. First of all, pursuing opportunities to speak. Remember, I gave a very simple illustration. In a family gathering, and they say, who will pray for us? That is an opportunity. You know, we're always thinking the opportunities are big opportunities. It's not. It could be the smallest of opportunities, even in your office or even in any environment where somebody needs to address. You need to take on that. Courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is acting in spite of fear. So you would have to do that. And over time, you cannot rush it. The fear will slowly start. It won't really go, but you'll be so accustomed to it and you'll know how to deal with it. Number two, when you're going to speak to, when you have an opportunity to do some speaking, public speaking, remember, it's not the problem that brings nervousness is that you think people are busy observing you. You think that people are busy looking at you, expecting you, and that's not the case. People are waiting for you to deliver a message. When you're too conscious about yourself, you'll be nervous. But when you're very absorbed in your message, that you have gone through it 4 or 5 times, you've understood it, you've internalized it, you feel it, and when you're too focused on delivering your message, you will find that you shift the focus from you to what you say. That again is something that you'd have to practice over time. Public speaking is not really about, I mean, it's important to look good, dress well, that's fine, but that's not why you're on the platform. You're on the platform to speak and deliver a message. So the focus, your focus should shift to, have I understood my message well? Get to the platform and connect and deliver it. When you shift the attention from you to the message, the nervousness will slowly take a backseat. Thank you, Grace.
I feel she's satisfied. Okay, Grace. Thank you for the emojis. We have another question by Consolata. I think it's the last one in the chat box. If you have any other question before we close the session, kindly do drop it in the chat box or raise your hand so that we don't close you out. So the question from Consolata Geshuru, she asks, what are some of the strategies for managing time effectively during a public speech?
I'll say this again. You have to rehearse. you have to rehearse. Rehearsing allows you to know how long you will take. Rehearse. Do your speech 3-4 times before you take on the stage. Number 2, have structure. Have structure in your speech. At the African Center for Public Speaking, the professional speakers course, there are many things that we teach you that allow you to have structure. Like, for example, using the rule of 3. The rule of 3 will govern what you want to say. The problem is that we start talking and we dive into something extensive. We go over and above something, yet because we did not really have structure to it. The rule of 3 makes you know, this is what I'm going to talk about, and in this, I'm going to break it down into 3 concepts, and after that, I'm going to have a call to action. Structure. So even when you find yourself starting to deviate, you know now I'm going overboard. Structure. You need structure. Every speech that you're going to do would require you to sort of put it down first into a form of structure. The introduction, the body, conclusion, or call to action. Now in that, you're able to put structure. How many points am I going to use here? So you're able to organize yourself and then do a trial. So you can be able to know, have I under-delivered or have I gone over and above time? Because in public speaking, we say when you talk too much, it's indiscipline and your audience will not be amused. You could lose them. So it's better to be able to have a body that you know, as long as I've covered this, I've covered this, I've covered this, I've covered this, the message is delivered. The most important thing is the delivery. It's not about the length of the speech, it's the delivery. So structure in your speech is very, very important. That will allow you to be able to manage your time. As well, you can time yourself, as long as it doesn't hinder you from your thought process. Yeah.
All right, thank you so much. I see Consolata has given the applaud. She's satisfied with the response. Since there's no any other question, unless I'm closing anyone out, that brings us to the end of the Q&A. And we want to just thank you again, our speaker, Daniel Orenge, for the awesome session. You've taken us. They're already giving you applause before I call for it. That's just how, okay, that's just how happy we are as your audience. So kindly, even as we release him, can you kindly applaud him as he exits the virtual stage? Yay, thank you so much, Coach.
Thanks, Derek. Sansana for the message. Sansana.
Derek says a great session, sir. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much. So I did promise you that we have something in store as a reward for you being able to show up despite of the challenge that we had during the last during last week, and now even us being here as a token of our gratitude. Now, as he mentioned during during his presentation, the coach did mention that we do have some courses that we offer at our center. And one of these courses is the public speaking program. And this public speaking program, we offer it in 3 different levels. We have the professional speakers course, which is usually a group program that runs for 5 weeks. And the classes are 3 times a week. That is every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Another thing to note about this specific program is that we have a very limited slots available. We only take in 10 people. Why we do that is because our classes are very interactive. They're very practical. So we do focus on having a small group of students so that they're able to match the coach, and we're able to tackle every single student as per their needs when it comes to public speaking. Other than the group setup, we have the executive speakers course. And in the executive speakers course, this one is just a one-on-one training coaching that is between you and your coach. And the sessions are based on your availability and the agreement that you come with the coach. And then also under the public speaking course, we do have the foundational speakers course. This is the public speaking training that we have for kids. between the age of 7 to 17. So if you have a child that you've realized either they're shy and you want them to just come out of their shell and communicate more and be more vocal and more expressive, or maybe you have a child that is into leadership positions and you want them to hone their public speaking skills, or even maybe in debate clubs and you want to hone that, or maybe even you have a child that you've discovered they have a gift in public speaking and you'd want to model it even better even as they grow up, then this is the program for them. That is the foundational speakers course. Now for this specific course, like I mentioned, we have a reward for you. But allow me to mention the other courses that we have before I mention the reward that we have that is attached to the public speaking programs that we do offer. So other than the public speaking programs, we do also offer leadership development program. Now, this is a program that we have for leaders. And at the center, at the Africa Center of Public Speaking, we believe that when it comes to leadership, there is the leadership within. That is, you have to lead yourself first before you're able to be a leader without. That is, show up as a leader to others, to the followers that you have that follow you. And then another course that we have, we also offer some personal development programs. That is, if you are at a space in life where you just want to be a better individual, maybe you want to show up better, maybe in terms of your goals, in terms of who you are as a person, we have some programs that we have for you in terms of elevating you from where you are to where you want to get to. Last but not least, we have job interview preparation skills programs. Now, if you're tired of always getting an invitation to the room, but you never really succeed to get the jobs or get the opportunities, either get into even schools, then this is the program for you. If you have a big job or a job that you've been desiring and you got the offer to you got the invitation for the interview and maybe you're nervous or you just want to prepare with somebody, then we have a program for you. Now, like I said I have a reward and I told you if you just stick with us to the end and you did, this is what we get. For you being loyal to us, signing up, showing up, taking your time out to be here with us this evening to listen to us and the presentation that we had for you today, we have a 10% discount. 10% discount for the public speaking courses. All you have to do is you can write to us right now. You can either send us a text to the number on the screen, that is 0734 300 900, or if you're outside of the country, that is +254 734 300 900, and send us the text saying 10% discount. For the group one, that is the PSC, that is the professional speakers course. For the one-on-one, that is the executive speakers course, you just end with the text. So send us a text or send us an email. If it's an email, let your subject be 10% discount code. Again, if you're joining in for the professional speakers course, that is the group session, text PSC. If you're joining in for the executive speakers course, if you're interested for the one-on-one, let your subject read ESC at the end and you qualify for the 10% discount. Now, this discount is only valid for the next 48 hours. It will expire on Saturday at 9 p.m. And another thing to note, like we've mentioned, our classes you only take in 10. And at the moment, we are doing an intake for the June class. It's going to start on June 3rd. It will be on a Monday. Again, the program for the professional speakers course is going to run for 5 weeks. And we meet at our offices at Luther Plaza along Nyerere Road. Also, we have virtual sessions available for people who are not able to come to the offices. Maybe you're outside the country or you're outside of Nairobi and you'd want to join into the session. So if I was you, I will take hold of the discount code. And another thing is we have very limited slots at the moment. Last I checked, we only have 5 slots remaining for the June intake. So if you want to enroll for the June class and you want to activate your discount code, oh, I did not mention the fees. So for the professional speakers course, the charge is usually 38,000. That is inclusive of the 3,000 registration fee. So if you activate your 10% discount, you're going to save 3,500. And If you are signing up for the executive speakers course, is usually 68,000, inclusive of a 3,000 registration fee. So if you sign up for the executive speakers course and get your 10% discount, you're gonna save yourself 6,500. Again, that's a good deal. I would run for it if I was you. And again, just to say thank you so much for being here, for waiting until the end. For any other information that you'd want to inquire, if you want to know more about our courses, anything else, or another thing I forgot, for the foundational speakers course for the kids, we have the training every Saturday from 9 a.m. to noon. And this happens again at our center at Luther Plaza along Herrera Road in Nairobi. The next intake is starting on 18th May. That is the next Saturday by 1, 18th May. That's when we have the next class starting for the juniors. If you'd want to enroll your child as well, just let us know. You can always call us or text us on the number on the screen, +254 734 300 900. You can visit us at our offices. We are located at Luther Plaza along Nyerere Road in Nairobi. Also, for more of our services and the courses that we've mentioned here, you can visit our website at www.publicspeakingtc.org. Also, you can reach us via email. You can always drop us an email at info@publicspeakingtc.org. Last but not least, if you'd want to get in touch with our speaker for the different, maybe if you want him to do something in terms of voice coach, or you want him as a health coach or also as a fitness coach, you can reach him. These are his information. You can reach him at +254 721 924 112 or +254 733 668 817. Also, you can reach him on email at d.man.wellness@gmail.com. Again, it's d.man.wellness@gmail.com. Also, you can find him on social media. He's very active on TikTok, on Instagram, on Facebook, and also on LinkedIn. You can find him at Diman Orenge or Daniel Orenge. So that's it from us tonight. Just to thank you so much for being part of this session. We hope to hear from you. We hope you can always reach us with the contacts that we've shared. You can always visit us and you can always leave us an email. We hope to see you in our classes soon, and also look out for the next webinar. Next time, make sure to invite a friend so that you improve with your friends, with your squad. Thank you so much. Have a good night. And before you log out, kindly just give me some thumbs up or something so that I know that. Thank you so much, Victoria. Thank you, Faith. Thank you, Pamela. Thank you, Grace. Thank you, Rosemary. I'm saying thank you, Derek. Thank you, Vivian. So you can always leave at your own pleasure, unless you have a question for us. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, Consolata. Thank you, Christina. Thank you, Sally.
Last man standing. Good night.
Yeah, good night. Good night.